WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have something new from the Elch German distillery. This is called the Torfduett. Torf is the word in German for peat. So it's a peat duet. Why did he use the word duet? Because it's 90% bourbon barrels and 10% acacias wood. Holz is German. Wood, and he mixed those two for a duet. This, on the other hand, is a mixture of bourbon barrels, sherry, as well as the acacias. And this is the 7th batch. I've done a video about this just recently. I actually visited the Elch Whisky distillery in Franconia in Germany. And yeah, I bought the bottles. Thank you very much. I was given these glasses, very interesting size of glasses here. They do have the logo on here. So very, very good. Both of these bottles cost 59 euros each. 0.7 for the German market for German whiskey. That's a fairly fair price. Often many people pay or charge exactly the same price for a 0.5 liter bottle. So I must admit that's good. Now there's one little discrepancy that I found on the website. The website talks about Georg Kugler. He is the founder. He is a brewer, brewing master, a master of brewery. He has his own company. He is a sommelier for fine spirits, and he's also now a head and master distiller. And on the website, it says that it's 32 ppm, yet on the label, it says 34 ppm. Apparently, they changed a little bit of that. Now, when he started out, Georg, he wanted to actually use German peat, so he had to find some peat. The whole area where he lives down in southern Germany, nope, no peat. So he had to go up to northern Germany, and there are actually peat farms or peat bogs where he can get the peat, and he lets someone dries it for him, and he sends it over to Belgium to get it malted. So he uses German malt, barley, but sends it over to Belgium. Now for us in Europe, Belgium's like if you're Kentucky, you're going to go over to Ohio. All right, so I'm in Belgium within 2.5 hours. All right, so if you're in Texas, you're not in any place in 2.5 hours. All right, or outside of Texas. So, and over here, some of the times the countries are like states, and so we're all one big European Union. We're a one big happy family, and so on. And all right. And so that's no big problem. And he brings it back over truckload a year or two, and he has his malt there, which is very, very, very nice. Now, I must admit I am not the peat head, so I am not yet enjoying a lot of peat whiskeys. But many people have tried these whiskeys, and especially blind, and have just been blown away. It's like, wow, this is better than stuff from Ireland. Wow, this is better than stuff from Highland peated single malt Scotch. And it might just be. Now, on the nose, I do get a sweetness. I do get vanilla, but I get a youthfulness. It's a no age statement. It has to be 3 years old. We're in Europe. But I wouldn't put it much above 4 to 5 years old. My personal opinion is there's no danger of this yet being over oaked. I would have appreciated maybe a year longer in the cask. Personal opinion. Over here, the batch 6 I tried. I liked it much better. It was much fruitier than batch number 7, and batch number 8 just came out this week, which I don't have. Now, in comparison to these two, it's like, wow, this is really nice. So, apparently, I like a sherried whiskey. No surprise there, duh. Apparently, I am not a person who loves acacias, wood, and bourbon alone. So I think that sherry really highlights a lot of stuff. I think he has his first recipe very, very bang straight on. Over here, I'm not really sure about that in my personal opinion. Now, there's an interesting little, there's tasting notes on his website here. They're written by Patrick Grazer, and they're in German, but I'll try to translate them as best as I can. They're very poetic, all right? So the glass, the whiskey sparkles as a very, very saturated straw gold, and there's oily legs down the glass, the wall of the glass. On the nose, immediately cold smoke is in the nose, and then you have pictures of a extinguished campfire, and then you have light fruity moments, maybe a banana that's becoming more and more ripe, um, canned or yeah, they're okay, canned pears. Yeah, don't you just love it? My grandma used to can fruit, but it was in a glass. That's why my brain was like, you can't can fruit. It's like, wait. You had those mason jars, but we would have canned fruit. All right, good. So, canned pears, and there's a very fine spice that's in the background that's slowly making itself noticed. And then you have some type of clove and some herbal candies, a little bit of ricola, cough drop, and then you have a tiny, tiny little bit of malt and butterscotch that go together with a touch of vanilla, and the whole thing is just rounded up with different facets of aromas. I mean, come on, the guy's a genius the way he wrote it, all right? So I didn't get most of that. I'm sorry. I don't know if he was paid for, he voluntarily gave up his tasting notes. I get a third, a fifth of what he wrote down there. All right, good. Cheers. Mhm. Now, the that peaty, I don't know, peaty's that smoke, that peat is there, but yet I do get a little bit of metallic type of youthfulness. Really don't like it. There's that wood, maybe it is the acacias, that I'm not used to. That's really not there. I think there was something from Method of Madness also with acacias. Didn't like it either. I'm so sorry. It wasn't up my in my wheelhouse. Let's see here, one quick.
Acacias.
Acacias. I sorry, it's acacias. Um, so he says after a very powerful start, there's a tiny little bit of a chili powder in here, and then it just spreads all over through the mouth, your palate. The taste is of cold smoke and pear. We have applesauce, so we have something called over here in Germany pear sauce. All right, and then we have the first impressions of a single malt. Slowly but surely, there's dark chocolate coming through, and then that smokiness fades away, and that pear, there's a dessert called pear Helena, is more and more, and then you get the maltiness as well as those herbal cough drops, and they are suddenly becoming more and more noticeable. Wow. All right, now enough of the translation here. Um, this is not my wheelhouse. Sorry. I do prefer, I gave this a C. This is going to be a C minus minus on my book. Mm. Much more like I prefer. There is that dark, cold smoke at the end. Bam, ash. But the fruitiness, the maturity, the vanilla, the entire cohesive complexity is absolutely something I can recommend. Um, Distribution, this is even less distributed than that. So sorry. So if you want to take a look at Whiskey Base, it is Whiskey Base number 168833. Um, it was in an online shop in Germany, sold out by now. The other place, Buy Your Elk, also Kauf Deinen Elch. They still have it on in stock, but there were not that many bottles. I would guess also maybe, where it says here, strongly limited, maybe about 1,200 is the normal batch size of this. So, yeah, I like what they're doing. I'm very, very proud to say that Germany has a lot of different whiskeys at the moment that are coming onto the market and are more than just acceptable. Some of them are actually outstanding, some of them are very nice, and some of them are still crappy. Put it the way it is. I'm going to start in October. I just started my in September my Bourbon News Deutschland, which means bourbon news for only for Germany, where I and a friend from the Bourbon Diaries, another YouTuber, talk about bourbon that have reached the shores of Germany and now are available. We talk about German topics, about bourbon topics in German. And now in October, I'm going to start my first German whiskey news broadcast, also in German for the German market. And I have another YouTuber that I'm doing this with, and we're going to have a focus on all the new stuff happening in Germany. And then probably it'll be November. I have a guy up in Ireland. He's from Germany, and we're going to start our Irish news Deutschland, talking about the Irish whiskey scene in Germany in German. So I'm becoming a podcaster as well, only in German. Sorry, guys, that's my main focus. All right, so thank you very much. So you might see more and more Irish whiskey, and you might see more and more German whiskey here on the table and as a video. Thank you very much. WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany, tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. So my question of the day is very simple. What other whiskeys do you like that have not been aged exclusively in oak? Not exclusively in oak. What else is there? Well, there is this wonderful wood called
acacias.
Acacias, and there are some other things, maple and some chestnut and some other things going on out there. So think about it. What other whiskey have you tried that you like that was not matured in oak? All the best. See you soon. Thanks for sharing, and bye-bye.